fishing news is brought to you by Navionics, Okuma, and Yozori.
Hi there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast on a cold day here in New England. Well, we are in between shows once again this week after hitting the Connecticut Outdoor Expo 2 weeks ago. And then we had the big Springfield Sportsman Show this past weekend. Obviously want to say thank you very much to everyone who came out and saw us. It was great catching up with all the new subscribers, old subscribers alike. Had a great time. Let's see, next up for the big shows, in New England anyway, is the New England Saltwater Fishing Show. It's taking place in Providence, coming up just about a month away, March 22, 23, 24. And that's followed the next week after that by our final show of the season here in New England. The Northeast Fishing and Hunting Show in Hartford takes place March 29, 30, and 31. In the meantime, however, I'll be doing an eel rigging how-to demo coming up on Saturday, March 9th. It's taking place the annual Rivers End Striper Surf Day in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. There will also be free seminars, in-store sales, and more. And I'll have a full list of details, everything that's going on in next week's video. Until then, as always, you can get the details online at thefisherman.com in our extremely comprehensive events calendar. Let's see, we've also got the March issue of the Fisherman magazine due out this week, and aside from a great photo featuring a very photogenic cover model, there is some downright awesome editorial to be found inside. With a nod towards the how-to for the winter, you can find such features as how to pour your own soft plastics or even powder paint and jigs. Some great tactics there if you'd like to begin honing your skills for the upcoming 2019 open water fishing season. We got some articles which tackle the likes of choosing between mojo rigs and bunker spoons for striped bass. That's a question we get all the time, so we'll really break it down for you, as well as a really cool article on how to modify plastic swimmers to work better under certain scenarios. I even got into a pretty, hopefully you find interesting discussion on fishing outflows and breachways with the often overlooked jig. And this is based on some great success that I found this past fall, and it really it just sparked some ideas I threw out there in regards to fishing them in the outflows. We also got some very informative features on the status of the updated striped bass stock assessment, as well as a look at what is going on with those great white sharks off of the New England and Northeast coast. I got some really good insight from Greg Scommel. Everybody's really well aware of him with the great white sharks, so definitely give that a look. Let's see what else. Actually, you know, we've got even more than what I've just listed, but if you want to check it all out, take a look at the local newsstand. Head on out to your mailbox this weekend, or you can head over to thefisherman.com and check out digital copies of the magazine. Remember, regardless of which edition you subscribe to, whether it's New England, whether it's Long Island, or New Jersey, Delaware Bay, you're basically just selecting the hard print copy that gets mailed to you, but you get access to all three editions on the computer at no extra charge. It's all lumped in your one-year subscription. All right, get all that out of the way. Talk a little bit about fishing. I mean, it is, as I said before, it is cold out here today. Not a ton of fishing going on, but while I was up at that Springfield Sportsman Show over the weekend, there was a lot of ice fishing talk going on, as they've still got that fishable ice up north. It's sort of, at least here in Connecticut, north roughly, let's call it 84, north of Hartford. They've got some ice here and there, but unfortunately where I am down here, it's cold, but it hasn't been consistently cold enough to really freeze those lakes back up after we lost them a couple of weeks ago. But in addition to the ice fishing talk, I'm already starting to get questions, inquiries about early post-ice, pre-flooding pike. And as I was putting the notes together here today, I got a phone call, and one of my buddies was actually asking if I'd heard anything on that, whether I'd heard anyone getting out yet. And while I will say it's been pretty good for ice pike, for the guys who have been able to get out and do that, it's a tad early just yet for the open water pike fishing on the Connecticut River, at least. But you know, it's not going to be too much longer. It's It's a short but solid window in that little week, 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, depending on how much snowmelt there is up north between when those coves and small tribs of the river start to thaw, and you get in there before the water starts to flood. It's a really awesome fishery, and you have got a shot in some very shallow water at some massive pre-spawn pike. And then last up, there was a little bit of a cod bite heading in over the weekend that has, unfortunately, once again, been put on hold due to poor weather conditions. We've had some, aside from this cold, we've had some crazy winds. We had 70-mile-an-hour gusts in Long Island Sound earlier this week, which not a whole lot of boats getting out in that. But before that hit over the weekend, for instance, our friends over at the Francis Fleet, they got back out after, let's see, they got out on Saturday. That was after 6 days of being stuck at the dock. They went right back to where they had found them last weekend. Had some fish here and there, started bouncing around, moved to some deeper water, and eventually got into a pretty good bite of cod. A lot of keepers, a good number of shorts. There's been a lot of those when the boats have been able to get out, as well as really good catches of ling and some really big jumbo, almost, ocean cunner, which if you haven't eaten them, if you like blackfish, you are going to like those big cunners. So if you get out on the boats and you get a couple of big ones, keep them. You will thank me. Unfortunately, looking at this weekend, the early weather forecast that I'm seeing, hey, what can I say? It doesn't look great to get out on the cod grounds, but we were also at this point supposed to have a couple inches of snow coming down. I wasn't sure if I was going to get out for my video, and that has totally changed now. Not sure. There's some weather still predicted, but not quite what they had, so you just never know. So if you want to get out and cod fish this weekend, just give your boat a choice a call. See what they got planned, see if they think they'll be able to make it. It might be a last-minute shot, but you know what? It just might be worth the effort. All right, well, there you have it. I am Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine, wishing you tight lines if you head out onto the water or if you get onto the ice this weekend.